citizens of Westmoreland. I hope and trust that as our time spent here will be a meaningful one. Once more, I just want to use this opportunity as I commend our Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security, our hard-working Commissioner of Police, and the rest of the hard men and women who serves this wonderful Jamaica land we love. We know that it has not been easy, and I hope and trust that you will continue the work for the people of Jamaica land we love. Once more, I use this opportunity as I extend a warm and sincere welcome to you all, and feel at home. God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Councillor Utah, and I want to endorse the welcome that was done. You are all special, and your presence here today is an indication that you are a part of the solution to fix the issues that we have within the parish of Westmoreland. So I'm going to invite you all to just give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. All right, so we're moving along. We're going to change a little bit. At this time, we'll be entertained by Tatiana James with a rendition, Dry Foot Boy by Louise Bennett. Can we welcome her, please?
Good morning, everyone. Dry Foot Boy by Louise Bennett Coverley. What wrong with me, Dry Foot Boy? Them gal got him for mock. And when me meet him tomorrow night, the boy give me a shock. Me tell him say him auntie and him cousin them send howdy. And ask him how I'm getting on. Him say, oh, jolly, jolly. Me start to feel so sorry for the poor bad lucky soul. Me think him come a foreign land, come catch bad foreign coal. Me think him got a bad sore throat, but as him chat one, me find out say his foreign twang the boy was a put on. When me noticed that him answer to nearly all me say was actually what oh day and all them same thing there. Me give a joker, the girl him laugh, but here the boy, ha ha. I'm sure you got that belly dash out of the cinema. Same time me lost me temper, and me holla, boy, Kir out, not chat to me with no hot potato in your mouth. Him turn up like him stunted. I hear him now. How silly. I don't think that I really understand you, actually. Me say, you understand me, no you name Kaja Scoop. Always visit Nana kitchen and give love for gungo soup. I know all you can say is actually, boy, but up. What happened to them sweet Jamaican joke you use for pop? Him get big and walk through the door. Him heading at the ear. The girl them ball out off of him. Not going. What? Oh, day. And from that night till today, them all got him for mock. Miss Mary Dry Foot Boy can't get over the shock.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you know you're not a dry foot boy, give us a round of applause for Tatiana James. Thank you so much. Well, I tell you about Louise Bennett, you know, she's just so talented. All right, so at this time, we'll be inviting Mr. Brian Saunders, Assistant General Manager of the National Housing Trust, to bring greetings. Yes, you can feel free to welcome him. That's what we do in Westmoreland.
Good morning. Minister of National Security, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, members of the JCF family, members of the NHT family, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. It is an absolute pleasure to be here this morning at Frome. We call it Frome's turn, for the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the Frome Police Station. The upgrade is part of a program partly funded by the NHT geared to the improvement of the physical facilities, living quarters of the police stations that are located within the 10-mile radius of the NHT housing schemes. The way the government can spend money on the police are many and varied, but one of the most significant investing is in the police property. Police staff need and deserve good working conditions, inclusive of modern police stations that will meet their needs and those of the citizens they serve. A solid and committed police capacity working program, such as the one that is being undertaken in collaboration with the National Housing Trust, ensures that the police enjoy comfortable, satisfying working conditions. Unfortunately, investment in the police buildings have been not always as solid as it is now. But today, as I said before, it's Frome's turn. The continued deterioration of the building that prior housed the Frome Police Station and generally across the island, there was a policy to improve all these conditions and honor the Project Rock refurbishing program during the 2002 and 2023 financial year. Today, we officially commence the journey to a new and improved Frome Police Station. Over the next 30 months, the goal will be to construct a 5,200 square foot building to house the administrative, living quarters, detention, and a detention facility. It will also be supported by additional infrastructure, sewage, parking area, boundary fence, and the unit will be outfitted with laundry and kitchen appliances. Over the next 30 months, the NHT will continue its planning and coordination of the activity to have this dream, this idea being a reality. This will be led by myself and my team, inclusive of our senior project manager, Ms. Jacqueline Johnson, and the team that we have there, David Daly, our project manager, and Jesse James, our project officer. I am confident that the team, like we have done before, will complete this police station within time and within budget and see us here again, possibly for a handing over ceremony. Shortly, the NHD communities served by this police station, to include our yeast plant, Ricketts River, and others, will celebrate the opening of the police station. They will join other police stations that have already been improved, such as the Special Operations Harmon Barracks, Olympic Gardens, Shady Grove in St. Catherine, Port Antonio, Buff Bay, and Orange Bay in the parish of Portland. A further 4 police stations are now either under construction or at the procurement stage. These include Lacovia in St. Elizabeth. We had a groundbreaking there in June this year. Stony Hill Police Station in St. Andrew, Little London right here in Westmoreland, and Anchovy in St. James. Finally, the NHT is pleased once again to execute this community development aspect of our mandate through their partnership, or through our partnership, with the JCF. While the NHT tagline is keys to your home, our mantra is that we do not just build houses. We build vibrant, holistic communities that our contributors are proud to call home. We are confident that the investment in the safety and security of Frome Westmoreland will be well received by the contributors, mortgagors, and the community in general, not just now, but for years to come. Once again, thank you for having us, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let us hear it for the Assistant General Manager, Mr. Saunders from National Housing Trust. We have to show appreciation, because we want to know that when Westmoreland calls on him, he will know that he should give Westmoreland some attention, because whenever he comes to Westmoreland, he's appreciated. Thank you so much, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we're here today is a good reason, because we want the police officers, the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, to feel comfortable so they can do their work, with pride and dignity. But at the end of the day, also, as citizens, we also have to take some form of personal responsibility so we can ease the pressure on our officers. There must be a change of mindset. When last have you encouraged a young person? Because if we change the mindset of young people, they in turn will influence their family members. Because do you know that parents listen to their children? And so if all of us take some form of personal responsibility, we can help to solve the issues of crime within the parish of Westmoreland, by extension, Jamaica. Now, our Major General Anthony Anderson, our Commissioner of Police, he was in Westmoreland last Thursday. I'm not sure it's for good reasons or not so good reasons, but we're working on solving the issues that we're faced with. And so today is a day to celebrate, because it's a good reason why he's here today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we welcome our Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, CDJP, to bring remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Williams, and our chair. Whenever I come to Westmoreland, it's a good reason. It's always good. It's good to be here, but whenever I come, even if something bad has happened, we come to fix it. So there's always going to be something good, even if it's the future outcome of why I'm here. Let me, although I think we recognized people extensively before, but I still would like to recognize some people. Obviously, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, currently our acting Prime Minister, Minister of National Security, and really one of the forces behind getting things like this done. And we've been doing them across the country, and we've been doing them elsewhere in Westmoreland. And of course, his able permanent secretary, Mr. Courtney Williams, who is the person who ensures that things like this happen from an administrative and financial perspective, along with, of course, our great partners, the National Housing Trust. So thanks, Mr. Saunders. There are some people, whenever you see them turn up, you're happy. They come with things, they come bearing gifts. And so we like to see the NHT anywhere that we are. We have with us also, of course, our Custos Rotalorum for Westmoreland, Honorable Hartley Perrin. Costas, thank you for your interest in what we're doing, but also as first citizen, but also chief servant. And you know, your ministry of service is obvious in how you conduct yourself in the parish. So I thank you, and thank you for welcoming me to the parish on whenever I come. Mr. George Wright, our Member of Parliament, again, good to see you again. And Mr. Uta, a councillor from the Frome Division. Then we have our Deputy Mayor, Mr. Danry Delancey, and also a number of senior JCF officers, of course, Mr. Joseph here, who is the commander for this division, Lieutenant Colonel Champagny Henry, who has supported us down in the west here with his unit. And also good to see our Federation team, Chairman and other members of the executive here to join us for this. And I think on these occasions, quite often we recognize all the, what you call the big people, but in this occasion I'm going to recognize Corporal Harold Brown, who is actually from the Project Management and Maintenance Division, who has really grabbed his team and has been working here on the ground. I don't know if you remember from time to time, and historically, sometimes you do a groundbreaking, and then you grow up back, and you break the ground again, you grow up back, and you break the ground again, and then on the third occasion, you might get going. It's good to see at this groundbreaking that ground is really broken. So I'm seeing something that looks like a foundation, which is a good sign. I'm sure it's a good sign for the people of this community who are here who have joined us. It means that it has started in earnest, which is good. I'm also happy to see that members of the community are here and have come out to join us on this happy occasion. And obviously our members and friends from the media who have been here. So I note, you know, sometimes you have a speech here, but there's just something I noted, and it was noted when Mr. Williams spoke earlier, our chairperson, our master of ceremonies, spoke earlier about what is right about Westmoreland being able to fix what is wrong with Westmoreland. But sometimes, you know, we don't pay enough attention to history. Now, Westmoreland has a significant history in Jamaica that dates back hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's informed by the character of Westmoreland has been formed by resilient people who have always pushed back against things that they deem to be wrong, whether it is oppressive government that happened in the past, in the long past, or practices that they did not like, or whatever it is. The people of Westmoreland never sat docilely while things happened that affected their communities adversely. Our current threat are the criminals in this community in Westmoreland. Some of them homegrown, but a number of them come into your space, into your communities, strange people. Sometimes they have friends within the space and they start to operate. And it's really important for us as the police that not only do you assist us to identify these people, but also in your own way by assisting us, whether it's with information or just asking the question, who are these people who are coming in and what is this? Why are we accepting this? We don't have to accept it. And we are here as the police to assist and to take the lead actually on fixing this particular problem at this time. Now, we take the lead, but of course, the resilient persons of Westmoreland, citizens of Westmoreland, who have always pushed back and not accepted that people should come and do things in their space. I remember a few years ago, as a matter of fact, just after I came to the police force, I think it was a month later, we had what happened in Kings Valley. Tragic event in Kings Valley. I went to Kings Valley up there to visit the scene. I actually left, we were at a conference, I left over in St. James, I came over. When you went up there and you went into the community, there is nothing about that community in terms of how it looks, how it's laid out, the relationships between the people there that should have led to what happened there. That is an alien thing that has come into that community. That is not a part of that community. That's a nice place. When you go in there, you didn't know that that could be the place that this happened. And that is so often the story. We must not give up ground to those people who wish to take these spaces and turn them into something else other than what they were meant to be and what they have been in the past. I say, myself and my officers are committed, not just the ones here, but other ones from elsewhere who may have to come here to ensuring that your spaces remain as they look and as they should be. There's no reason why you should be living in fear of anyone here in Westmoreland. And it is my job and the job of my people to assist, as a matter of fact, to lead the charge on creating less fear in your community. But I will need your help and assistance, and in particular, for those persons who are heading in that direction but are not there yet, you can assist in stopping them and preventing them and diverting them before they get there. At that point, they're in your hands. When they started to join that other side, they become in my hands. And the combination of those two things can get things back to where they should be. I think that that is very important. As I said, I was here last Thursday, and fortuitously, the Custos had called together a town hall meeting, which I was able to address some of the concerns by the citizens and the church, the business community here in Westmoreland. And as I had said, that we will be pushing into the west here. At the moment, we have the team. As a matter of fact, the area commander is not here today, simply because he's in Kingston with the team, planning what we're doing from now till the end of the year to push back on this, what we're seeing. It's not acceptable that these criminals can be up and down, these gunmen can be up and down terrorizing our citizens. They are the problem in this society. So we yesterday graduated some 328 additional police officers, and it's part of the ongoing thrust to do that. We'll continue to implement our strategies. As you say, we're in a deep planning session now, and we're doing this. We do our internal planning in the next couple of days. We'll also be doing, continuing our planning with the JDF to see how we respond to what we're seeing in various parts of the country. This station is significant, not only for our own members, as a number of persons who spoke mentioned, and their own, just the basic, decent conditions under which you can do your work, which is what we're creating. But this is something for the community. It's a refuge for the community. It is somewhere to go to if you have any concerns, even if it's not a policing matter. The police here at Frome should accept you as a citizen and try and find a way to assist you, or just listen to you, because sometimes people turn up just for that, to resolve issues of a domestic nature before they become a crime. And also to launch a youth club from here so we ourselves can engage the young people of Frome in something positive and create positive feelings and positive attachments to the JCF going forward. We look forward to, of course, as a force, the passage of the new Firearms Act. I won't say anything more about that. I suspect the DPM may say a bit about that. But we look forward as the police to any tool we can get that causes concern and has to cause concern for those people who are the criminal element, who are out there doing things. We look forward to changes to the Bail Act to stop, because we see the impact when we bring people into custody and they come back out. They just keep doing what they were doing before. We know this. We have data on this. So we want these things, we need the legislation to support it. And I must say, within the whole of the criminal justice system, there is a willingness. I think as Jamaicans together, we recognize there's a problem that we have, and collectively we can find the solutions to these problems. This is not beyond us. The fact that it has persisted for 20 years, what that tells us is whatever we've been saying and whatever we've been doing over the last 20 years, we have to do things differently. It's different things that are going to give you different outcomes. If you do the same old things, you're going to get the same outcomes. So we have to continue to do different things. And the things that we do that work, we have to continue to improve and do them better. And that's our commitment to you as, you know, the government, the taxpayers of Jamaica, our own taxes as police officers, because we're taxpayers too, are going into, sometimes that's forgotten, but we pay taxes too, and all of that goes into this facility that's here for us and here for the community. So I will leave Westmoreland today happy that we could have added something, and I look forward to coming back to open this station. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good day.
We have another round of applause for our Commissioner of Police. Thank you so much. And I hope you were listening to the thoughts that he shared, and as much as you can, put them into practice. You know, while I stood there, I got a message from Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and you know what he said? Westmoreland, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to be entertained by a dance group from the Frome Technical High School. Can we welcome them, please? A cultural dance.
Yes, man, back it up, the kid have money you spend. All of me team, they also show the whole of your friend. Matalan no signal to me sending back his own 10. While everybody you show, three of us them at it again. So watch the bones, hop, skip your enemy there. Swing your one from left to right, me know the saga mad there. Beat them like a whipping on me and me now look my friend. Enough of them you hear attack when them see we them now they nothing. Bones, hop, make sure you swing your one there. When them come to you with argument, make sure you run them. Happy I live a life, I make money, we not a problem. I bag a chat and make I say them bad, we not look at them. Bones. Say you feel bones. Bones. Say you feel bones. Kyrie, try your bones to this. Uptown dancers, we are not done to this. Dancing not just fun, it and no mathematics. Anyway, me go, me a the general in a this. But as Ken, me a beg you to check your left in it. In our side, tell us me say fi come here to me. Tisha, Rebel TC, I'm pretty. I feel the touch, I go tell me say they want money. So watch your bones. Hop, skip your enemy there. Swing your one from left to right, me know the saga mad there. Beat them like a whipping on me and me now look my friend. Enough of them you hear attack when them see we them now they nothing. Bones, hop, make sure you swing your one there. When them come to you with argument, make sure you run them. Happy I live a life, I make money, we not a problem. I bag a chat and make I say them bad, we not look at them. Peace love a bag a girl a cuss them in a my hand. Say them want to take my throne, them can't go round me collar. Foot a brush.
May I have another round of applause for the members of the Frome Technical High School. And remember, school just reopened. School just opened. So the fact that they managed to put something together, we have to commend them. All right? There's a thought that says, everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they're dedicated to and passionate about what they do. And so as citizens of Westmoreland, all of us can rise above the problems that we have with crime to solve it. And it says also, there's no passion to be found playing small. So as a parish, back then we were seen as this rural parish, but now we're somewhat leading in terms of crime and violence. And so we want to fix that and celebrate other successes and not celebrating the issue of crime within the parish of Westmoreland. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll be having our main address. And this will be done by the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, CD, MP, Deputy Prime Minister, and the Minister of National Security. Please welcome him.
Thank you, our Chairman. I have to recognize a few people. I begin with you because I hope I'm part of what's right with Westmoreland. You see, RC will tell you, the old people tell you, my neighbor string plant in Westmoreland too. And I went to the school that he's chairman of the board for now, near Wood All School, and had some good years there. I'm going to record my presentation, and I know it's being recorded. I don't have a printed script that I can speak from. Allow me to recognize, of course, Costas Hartley Perrin, leading citizen, number one citizen in Westmoreland. That's Costas, even though I'm acting PM today, sir. But Commissioner, Costas don't tell you, but the very first time I met Costas, we knew each other, but the first time I met Costas, he was handing me the 6th traffic ticket at White House, coming from Kingston, going back to my constituency. Remember, come the morning, to the 6th one coming back home from Kingston and Parliament, Your Worship, I'm Deputy Mayor to the Landsea. Our Commissioner, Major General Anthony Allison, our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Courtney Williams. I recognize, of course, Colonel Henry from the Jamaica Defense Force, the Member of Parliament and Councillor Utah, other members of the local authority, and although it's been done, I think it's my responsibility to go through other members of the Superintendent Joseph, who heads the Westmoreland Police Station at this time. And we are here in Westmoreland. A bit of a difficult time for you, Superintendent Joseph, but I hear you're doing a sterling job. Today, representative from the National Housing Trust, present here this morning, always welcome you. Deputy Mr. We're advising to travel with the checkbook, since Housing Trust will help us with these things, but the Permanent Secretary, who is an economist, advised me that it's better to do it digitally. Just transfer it fast, and you can't take it back afterwards either. That can you cancel it. Today, officers from the Westmoreland Police Division and the many citizens are here today from the Frome area and Westmoreland in general. It's good afternoon, just after 12, so it's good afternoon to you. It's my privilege to be here today with you and a pleasure to break ground for the Frome Police Station. And one could say to the media members who are here, and I think my Western media friends are here, good afternoon to you too. And they have been to a number of these groundbreaking activities and to opening of police stations as well. I prefer the opening, because when you break ground, sometimes it takes a little while to come. But it's important to keep the population abreast of what we're doing. And today, I've taken a little different note. We're doing the Westmoreland Frome Police Station today, and I think I want to be here because I want to remind and re-emphasize the fact the government's commitment to invest in security, and in particular Jamaica Constabulary Force. I'm sorry, Chairman of the Federation, Mr. James, sorry I missed you there. I didn't see on my notes, and Commissioner Mann, you're here and the team from the Federation. As continuing, I said, I want to remind the wider population, this government undertaker gave a commitment and articulate a policy framework in which we will invest in security, because we view public safety, good order, and corruption as macro-critical elements, as my peers would say, and we see them as threat risk to the stability of our country and to achieving the kind of growth that we would like in the economy. And we are confident we can, with the appropriate investment in all areas, we can not only reverse but correct that trend and restore the kind of public order and public safety that our citizens are deserving of and not used to at one time, but a long time back. Indeed, we are having some effect, without any doubt. Long-term surveys, like LAPOP survey, as referred to only recently by the Prime Minister, demonstrate that there are less citizens feeling victimized by crime. And at the community level, there's a greater sense of security in wider area of Jamaica. But there is a sense of fear and almost terrorism hitting our people in some areas, as is happening currently in Westmoreland, where homicides have increased. And they're very dramatic, in particular in the last few weeks in this parish. But part of that fear, not just the numbers, is the character of the killings that have been taking place. There are the shootings, drive-by shootings, where individuals who are determined to kill will load an automatic firearm and driving past a crowd of individuals at a shop, just empty, aiming for one, but whoever is in the way gets shot. And that kind of activity, of course, inspires fear. No longer one wants to play domino under the shop pacer. I do that sometimes, and it's a part of Jamaican culture. Others, we have a number of brutal killing with knives, stabbing. I think between July and now, there have been about 34 killing by sheer brutality. that kind of activity does inspire fear. We recognize that. But the police force is taking, or will be taking action to bring about, not only mitigate, to reduce that problem. It's important to look at what we are doing, that we have not only have to reduce the current situation, but to ensure that what we do will be sustainable. When we break down for Frome today, it's not the only thing we're doing in terms of the infrastructure of the police. Across the island, in end planning stages, we intend pretty soon to start the divisional headquarters in Westmoreland. We will start a Western mobile facility in Montego Hills in the new financial year. We have acquired lands, and we expect to start the divisional headquarters in Spanish Town. We are currently doing significant work on some 15 police facilities across the island. We will be completing, not only rehabilitate the microwave network, we'll be completing a microwave network to cover the entire island. And the JDF will have a coastal radar in position very soon that will assist, of course, in disrupting the transnational criminal activity that takes place through Jamaica and contributes to bringing in the firearms that is used to kill our citizens. Essentially, we have to get the big operators who are at the head of creating the kind of destruction we're having, in which people are provided firearms, money, and bullets to kill our citizens. So at the end of the day, we'll have refurbishing and rehabilitation pretty much all of our police physical facilities, purpose-built police stations, meaning they are built as police stations, not just a building with a roof that is hopefully safe, and you stick police officers there in uniform and say, good, provide public safety. We seek to ensure that the police will have adequate transport in addition to communication. And my understanding, even their uniforms are being modernized and brought to the first to be able to operate with the tools and equipment of a police officer in today's world. That deals with what you might call the physical infrastructure that we are bringing to the table. In addition to that, we recently passed through the House a new firearms act. It's called the Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation of Firearms. I expect within a fortnight to bring a significantly amended and new bail act to Parliament. We will be looking at making significant amendments to the process of crime act in order to deal with the unwarranted well order. Aspect of the financial acts will, of course, regulation with dealing with criminal activity awaits a particular court ruling. But we are doing a number of things that will strengthen the hand of the police in interdicting, interrupting, and arresting and prosecuting the criminals who are organizing young Jamaicans to kill each other. The Firearms Act itself can be seen as the first major piece of legislation that actually gives the police a tool. Over many years, the attitude was always find some legislation or commission to oversee the police, and they get another commission to oversee that commission. We don't view it in that light. This government views the police force, not only in theory, but in reality, as the primary law enforcement agency in the country, and it's a commitment to, in fact, build out the police force as an institution that they can deal with the kind of criminality that is taking place in the country now. So we are providing not only the physical framework, we're going to provide the appropriate legislative framework that they can do their job, and when they do it, it has impact as required. So the Firearms Act is designed that when a gunman is found with a firearm, he's taken off the street for time. I don't have all the statistics here, but if those who like to write, and that's all right, whether the members of the press or columnists, you can get the data from the police. In this very parish, there are not only several known criminals on the road right now who are out on bail, killing people. There are others who have been to jail, been found guilty after the police investigate, prosecute, and charge. They are found guilty, and they are out very soon. In fact, more prepared to kill more because they now feel that they can go to the system and have no fear of apprehension or prosecution. And there are several of those around. What we are saying with the Firearms Act, in this country, in our little island, if you are carrying an illegal firearm, we know it is part of your intention to kill somebody, and we're going to take it off the streets. And therefore, we have instituted some severe penalties, and we're doing this deliberately because we not only want to send the message, but we want to send it correct, that when the officers who work hard, long hours, put themselves at risk and find a criminal killer with guns, he will be in jail, locked away in the state scare for some time, and the police officer can get on with his work. The mandatory life sentence evokes some comments and criticism, but we consider it a necessary policy, and it will be approved, and as soon as approved in the Senate, we will pursue with, I will announce the appointed day, and the police will have a new tool to operate, a tool that we think will be effective in dealing with some of the criminal activity. And while we're doing that, we're not being insensitive to any of the other complications. Criminal justice system revolves around the police. I don't have to say that because everything that happens, they blame the police. But we need, the police force is the front line of law enforcement. They are the ones out there seeking to find the criminals, apprehend them, have them prosecuted. But the entire system depends on the police. And after the police investigate, find the evidence, they have to give it to the DPP, his office, Department of Public Prosecution, where they has to be evaluated by the lawyers. And remember what we say as laypersons, not necessarily what lawyers think. And the lawyers will analyze, go through, quarrel with the police about what they have, and they have to have that evidence there, and you then prosecute. So in getting there, I have to provide the police with the tools, the laws, and I might have not forgotten, but not mentioned the forensic science lab, because it used to be part of the police force. It is now an independent organization. Rebuilt, fully equipped. We have one of the most modern forensic units in the island, and in the Western Hemisphere. And then the DPP takes that, go to court, and the court must function. And when they are found guilty, we put them in the correctional service. That entire circle has to function efficiently in order for us to come to grips with criminality in the country. So we're not disregarding that in any way, and we are working closely with the courts. Someone did mention in the debate that we may be overloading the courts. We are doing many things, and I speak now not as a minister of justice, but as a part of the government. We recognize that all sectors have to work together, and we are working while we will not interfere with the judges in the court. It is our responsibility, and we accept it, to ensure that the judges have proper facilities to work in and have a system that works efficiently. Just like the police need police stations, the judges need modern courthouses with digital equipment, computers, etc. to work with. And we're working with them, and I have actually taken an interest working to do that. In fact, got close to it because as we seek to bring in a modern ticketing system, which while is a public order issue, has turned out to be symptomatic of much of what is wrong with our entire criminal justice system, in that it was primitive and not working. Those who commit breaches on the street in terms of driving, the police officers who do their job, give you a ticket, but the ticket went nowhere. We have not dozens, hundreds of thousands of tickets down there. But of course, the primary reaction is always policemen not doing the job because they have taxi on the road. The fact is that the system wasn't working. All the tickets are down there. The police write the tickets, and man don't pay. Reach the court, no warrants are given because the system did not allow it to be done. We had, at one stage, in seeking to correct the problem, the Ministry of National Security assisted the court's office, not the judges. That's our job. We don't interfere there. with some 22 workers to sort out a backlog of 340,000 tickets. That was some 3 years ago. And then we are now back up to about 240,000. We're going to get them cleared up. I give the commitment as minister, whatever this government start, we'll finish. And we'll have an effective, efficient system in place. It has started, not only, although we brought the new Road Traffic Act, there was always a Road Traffic Act. It is for the system of prosecution to operate effectively. And some have started, because with the connectivity with the tax office working, some people now when they go to the tax office realize they cannot renew the license. And when you check, they have 500 tickets behind them. In fact, it might be a good time to remind when I went to check the new system we have given to the police, which we are expanding. I was invited one morning. Nothing was planned. I was just told, come with the commissioner and the team, and they'll show me how it works. And I must tell the young police officer was very pleased, because he's working with a mother anyway. The young officers are of the digital age. So if I have a little machine in where I'm ticketing on, almost like a telephone. So I was quite happy doing it, despite what they're saying about the police officer. He was enjoying his job, and he wanted to ticket the man. And then pulled over someone who just made a breach. Simple, regular taxi on Constant Spring Road. And I am walking up, I was pleased to show me, Minister, that's what we do, name, driver's license, etc., etc. So look at this. The man had drawn arbitrarily. There was 500 outstanding tickets on the license, 500. So the system will now identify them at the very beginning when we catch them. And we are finding them. So whether it is the gunman or the traffic breacher, we are putting the police in a position to find them. What I have to ensure is that we have a system behind, a process behind it to prosecute them is in place effectively. And that is how we're going to reduce it. And we are committed to that as a government. But I use that to say that we have to work together, and the government is at this level pulling the sets together that we'll have a functioning, effective criminal justice system. The issue of training, of course, of numbers is crucial to all of this, because we have always needed more police officers. The population is growing. We have done very little to expand the police force. The working conditions are one thing, but numbers are required. The police officer, as the front end of law enforcement, has many responsibilities. You know, from routine activities at what you call the geographic divisions. You know, if you have a sudden death, you have to call the police officer. You know. I learned that as a district medical officer, did postmortems commissioner. You have to call a police officer, and the police officer have to come there and ensure that there is nothing funny went on. There was no breach of the law, and still have to wait until he has to give permission until somebody collects the body. At that point, unless the postmortem is done, you're actually dealing with a crime scene, potentially. I remember the first one I did, the commissioner and officer here, where I'm in Hanover, the district medical officer. I was called the morning of my wife's my wedding anniversary, 9th of September, 1980. And we were going to a mother-in-law who was my favorite place to eat for a little celebration. They called me and said, well, I went to the bush now, go look at some dead bodies. I said, no, but Dr. Chang, if you don't come, the police officer who was there from early Saturday morning, have to stay there till tomorrow morning. This is a body that's about 2 or 3 weeks old. I will tell you what that means. All right. And the officer had to stay there. And I said, all right, I'll go. This was the first one. But I knew I had to go to the district, so I decided. Couldn't allow it. And yes, indeed, the police officer was there. He stood about a few yards from the house, and he had lit some green bush to keep away crows and muscular, etc. And I stayed the night through. So, and I went over. It was not too difficult a challenge, because the cause of death and the murder, it was not murder, it was pretty obvious at the time. Well, at least to a physician. Somebody, he had gone and, remember, he had sold pimento, a small farmer, he had sold pimento the day and collected his money. And somebody followed him home and stabbed him. and it was easy to diagnose where this stab wound was and how, although it was decaying, could identify which lung was further decayed than the other, so forth. I won't give the symptoms of identify. Able to do it. Once I did that, of course, the officer could move. But I just think that because this I found a number of them, the officers had to stay there. That was one responsibility. So while chasing criminals and other things, they have to be there to ensure public order. They have to monitor all aspects of law enforcement. You're sharing the numbers. Because while he's there watching somebody who has died for several days, they still had to have somebody on the road doing traffic. And you still had to have someone who's going to investigate the latest domestic crime down the road where stepson and stepfather is quarreling and about to chop up each other, and the police don't show up in some numbers to ensure a killing don't take place, you have another murder. And they still have to be visiting some spot where they have some riot going on between two gangs. So we need numbers. And as the commissioner said yesterday, I had the privilege of seeing over 300 graduates, and just about 8 weeks ago I was where another 120 was. And the government have worked with the police force to ensure that we have 4 training facilities for the first time active. We have a police college, and I'll come back to that. We have refurbished Harman Barracks, and it's now a place where young men and young women can reside and be trained. Because what Harman Barracks was before, although it was in use, was not appropriate for residents. And I leave it at that. We have refurbished, with the help of the Home Trust too, and it's in good order. We're training officers there. We reacquired a facility in St. Elizabeth called Tranquility Bay, where we can train. And we have also engaged from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Camp Verley, which can accommodate another 250. So we can meet our targets, and we're not just getting on that platform and making some shouting noise about put more boots on the ground, like you take people off the shelf, like you take men and women off the shelf and stick them somewhere for policing. We have 4 facilities that will be able to train in the course of this year 1,500 young, capable Jamaicans who are committed to law enforcement. So that we'll have the numbers that we can put on the road. But in addition to professionally trained officers trained in basic policing, the college now offers several advanced training programs. And we have young men who are doing officer training. I think right now there are about 30 or 40 inspectors doing officer training who could come out as DSPs very soon. We have high performance detective training. We have training in crime scene management. And the police has put in place a document together of over 3,000 pages online that have points of proof in prosecution. And I mention those because what we're looking at is men and women enforcing the law in adequate numbers to reach the community, but also be prepared how to take their case to court in a more efficient manner and provide the people with the kind of evidence that we require, that the court itself can go more swiftly and efficiently in getting case through. So we take into consideration all aspects of what is required to have an efficient police force. The JDF, as I said, has acquired for itself, especially we'll be having acquired for itself the coastal radar system, which will soon be up. But we not only have trained officers who give support to the police, and I emphasize it is supporting the police. The police leads in crime fighting, especially in territorial matters, areas. But on the high seas, the Coast Guard plays a critical role, and Jamaica is a center of transnational activity. We are situated between 2 large continents. The northern continent, USA and Canada, is the largest market in the world. Is the largest part of the, is the largest economy, and is the largest market for everything and any and everything. So there are great areas for computers, etc., but criminals direct their products to North America where the market exists. And South America, on the other hand, is where the most cocaine is produced in the world. And now they come up with some new, they have a pretty large pharmaceutical business in South America, and Molly and amphetamine is now on the market and produced in large quantities out there and comes through the Caribbean. So Jamaica is a center of transshipment activity. And the Coast Guard plays a crucial role there, and we have in fact set about building out the MAP Brigade. Colonel Henry is here. He in charge of the Western Command and Battalion, but the MAP Brigade is a specific brigade involved the Coast Guard, the Air Wing, and the Computer Center to monitor transnational crime and to interrupt them even before they get into Jamaica and get rid of some of the real heavyweights who are causing us the kind of problem we are causing. So as a government, we seek to provide the security forces with the appropriate infrastructure, numbers, equipment, to operate a legal framework and to train adequate numbers to meet the demands of today. While that is happening, Westmoreland will of course confront me and say, well, right now, Dr. Chang, do look good in Westmoreland. It's now one of the highest increase in terms of homicide in the island, and homicide frightens the community. Gangs have been operating actively in Westmoreland. The gangs are buying guns from the country by the people who are involved in drug running, which is why the transnational crime is important to disrupt. The coke dealers send they transship the guns, the coke, and they bring in guns to protect their product. A lot of scammers are active. It's a new form of criminal acquisition of money. Started in Montego Bay, I'm aware, and has spread across the island. And a lot of scammers, some will say in a nice way, have democratized criminality, because any young man who knows how to use a cell phone or a tablet, which we have had to be promoting actively during the pandemic, can now get on and they scam hundreds of thousands, millions of Jamaican dollars. And we have a new paradigm in terms of criminality, because they not only, they in the community become hot youngsters and they drive fancy new cars, they buy a house for the family. Mr. Wright, or a member of Parliament, will tell me, right? And other things they put out which sometimes let people take a second look at them as, maybe this is a kind of Robin Hood thing. But in fact, stop at the robbing, because what they do is buy firearms. Some keep on themselves for protection, and they hand firearms to young men around them and start quarrels between each other. Today, the commissioner will tell you when I speak to him, or if I call Mr. Joseph occasionally, and I still speak more to my commissioner. When I look at my morning report regularly, I see Witton. And not only Witton, I see Logwood. I mention it because I know Logwood very well. I had a patient there to do home visit of when I was practicing in Westmoreland. It's a little district. I don't know if Mr. Wright, Asphalt Road, they've been doing a good job as MP. It was a little track, right? When you're going through, sometime, if you're walking, you move the broom wheel out of the road, or you drive over them because there's a bush you can drive over. That's what Logwood was to be, like a farming district. Now, almost every month I see coming in, shooting Witton, Logwood, one shot or two, because a scammer has gone in there. So we have to find them. And ultimately, I have to measure the work of the police by what they're doing to interrupt the killers. Although the numbers are high, I say work is being done, not only in terms of deployment and activity and visible activity. Since here, there have been 16 extraditions of big scammers. When you take out a scammer, and sometimes that causes a problem, because the little one them leave behind, start the things and use them gun, rob and kill people. And therefore the killing doesn't go down that like. But it's important that we disrupt these guys. And between MOCA's operated what we call the joint operation linked to telemarketing, which is a combination of police, MOCA, FID, and our partners, because they're scamming from overseas. The Joel team is jerking the scammers. We have extradited some, I said 21 of them in the last year. The COM should note that. But to find them takes significant police work, not only in terms of technology, hard working daily on the ground to find these people. And between the operation of a joint operation group linked to telemarketing, working with the CTOC branch of the police, they have in fact extradited 21. And there's more to come. And I can say that with confidence. Because in addition to that, there are 52 people in courts because of scamming. And I know, and it won't reveal it, but I know that between the Joel team and the police, they are monitoring dozens of them out there. And we're going to find them, catch them, and lock them up. And I can say that with confidence to the police. But in the meantime, yes, we know some of them will get away with some criminality. The CTOC team itself pursues all elements of criminality, and during the course of this year, I've already extradited some 8 major crime actors. You know, the history of fighting crime in Jamaica is that when in the old days, they used to criticize the police for extrajudicial killing. At the same time, what they used to praise the police for is when they formed some special squad and shoot on a bad man. So I hear that when they shot Bolby, it was a big thing. Made the minister almost a hero. Right? But we quit the police. They operate professionally. They're not out there shooting on people like that. Extrajudicial killing is a historical thing here. They have had fatal shooting because a man shoot gun off them. I'm not telling no policeman to fire back. And I said it here in Westmoreland, I'm not sending no ambulance out there either. Anytime a man take up a gun after police, I expect commissioner to train them. When him fire, he must miss. Don't want him to come give no trouble to the hospital or home. Not in that business. And when him get hurt, him get hurt. Once him pull a gun, a police officer must be prepared to deal with him. I don't even want them to come give trouble. You know, you go to the hospital, it costs you $10 million to save him life, you know. Not into that. Right? When criminals, the police come, they must surrender and come in. They are entitled to a fair trial. That's why I emphasize we are providing the courts with what they require to run an efficient system. I can't tell the judge what to do. I can give him the laws, and I can give him a good courthouse. And that's what we're doing. And I train the police officers to prepare the case well. So they have a good forensic lab, and they get tools to work. And I want to assure the country, I take that job personally seriously, and the government is committed to it. And what I speak to it, I speak as government policy. So that the interception and the interdiction of the criminals, I said 8 of those extradited were involved in other criminality, like the drug running. And the drug runners are still a big player in the system. But what we see and fear of is the poor, and there's no need for poverty to live with crime, but it's the poor youth from down the road who them give a couple $100 bills and a gun and to go kill that brethren down the road. I want the man who has take the coke, send it to America and come back with the big money and the plenty gun. And we've been doing much of that. 8 of them gone. And more to come. I can't say too much, because I'll tell you what we know, but I know many of them were in. The police, in the team, the Joel team, which has the police, MOCA, FID, supported by our partners internationally, and the special team, the police, CTOC, and other NIB and its intelligence unit, we know them. The Prime Minister said that. We are going to find them, and we're going to find the evidence, and we're putting them away. Whether here, through our laws, or where they're committing some other crime, elsewhere, they'll go there, and I know they fear that. But we are in a position to move aggressive on it. The police itself, the police team, have dealt with some heavyweights after that. But I said because we're not shooting them down, you don't make the front page, Commissioner. Anybody who understands, and I don't know if it's a good thing or not, I come from a constituency that is rough. And everybody know that. Montego Bay is the center of a number of activity, including a lot of scamming. But we have some serious players in the criminal network. I know some of them well too. Right? A couple of weeks ago, the police took in a fellow named Rev. I think it got, yes, he called himself Rev, but not Costas. right? From St. Elizabeth. It's a man who is known to have been a player in drug running and gun running for years. It took extraordinary effort and some very serious, detailed police work to finally get the evidence to lock him up. All the time they say, no, you know things, but you can't do anything. We have to go to court. We have a very strong court system. We're not looking to break it. We have an excellent system. And to go to court, we need evidence. Information, intelligence keep us informed. And not hearsay business. The police lock up, man, him bigger than Bulby, but you don't carry no news. Liquor players are running around. The police taking black man, the trial, what, 4 years of gathering evidence, cost the state millions of dollars to keep it going. And it now millions to try. It's 23 men in jail. Going to the court, we'll look forward to what the court will be in a few weeks. But just keeping the witnesses alive and well was serious work for 3 years, and give credit to the witness, who was not himself. We had those who were criminals who were turning against their own. But when that citizen witness come forward, I commend them, urge more to come. They have an extremely high quality witness protection program. But it's tough on a man who you take from his home, you put him in a space where he has no friends, he loses his identity because he can't use his name, he has no family, and he has to stay there for 3.5 years before he come to court. We just come out of a pandemic. Some of you knew what it was to be locked down for a 30-day period. 30 days. And you're still with your family in your own house and the same district, except you couldn't go play domino down the road, and you couldn't go to church. You have to say Reverend online, and him say, look, my face is so telegenic, you know, but it's all right, look online, right? And all of that. This witness has been there for 3.5 years. No work, no family, no identity. But he stayed the course, and I say he was a hero to us. And he has done his job, and he has testified. And with what? Some almost 19 lawyers. Each of them is trying to twist him and stay the course. And I use my example to say to citizens, we need your help as well. In Westmoreland, we need the good citizens to, when they identify the criminals, we have names, whether it is Darling Street, the Elite Crew, or Crowder, or Kings Valley, or the friends of those in Miguel. We need the citizens to give us the evidence. The police officers are working hard. They are as stressed as you are about citizens, criminals killing citizens. But when the day comes and we arrest them, and we'll provide them with the tools and equipment to get there, we still need the citizen support to ensure that they are prosecuted and put away. It's difficult when we know we have the informed the dead culture, and we do have to protect our witnesses and the citizens. But as we go forward and build out the force, provide them the tools, we know that they can not only prosecute, but they can protect the citizens of the community. And I end on that note because I could mention quite a few more that the police have apprehended in the last few years, in fact. In fact, the Joel team, I refer, when I say they jerk up the scammers, you know, the director tells me when that team meets, they take them in packages in consultation with the police and working with CTOC. On a monthly basis, they'll take out 12 at a time. And they have not fallen behind yet. So there's more to come, and sometimes they're going to go beyond that, and that's what I assure you. But the last note I'll comment on is that I went to 2 graduations recently. We didn't have the face-to-face graduation during the pandemic. And I'm in a better position today to understand and appreciate the nuances of policing. I don't interfere with the operations, the commissioner will tell you. In my superintendents, I have the numbers. I call the commissioner twice a day, every day. Sometimes late at nights. But he's up late as well. I'm not the only one stay up late. Right? And I just called a few of my superintendents because I know them and I know the area. I happen to know the Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James here very well, every district. So I will call Mr. Joseph from time to time. Not to encourage him, but to get a feeling of the local scene. And I will always let the commissioner know, and Mr. Ellis in Montego Bay. But there's a narrative on the street out there, despite of some improvement and in what you call crime victimization, and the community is saying it. But when you move it from the community level, there's still a number of people like to portray the police in a negative light. And some of them are contributing to it, you know, who encourage police to do the things that here. But that's on that side today. I went to graduation, I saw 126, it was the first time, bright, young, alert Jamaicans that every parent was proud of. They were not only well-dressed, conducted themselves on the parade ground with exquisite quality. I saw another set yesterday. Among that group were high school graduates, teachers, college graduates, university graduates joining the police force. In the audience were their families. So if I take 400 plus, there may be 1,500 people there from across Jamaica. St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, corporate area, all over. There are families. And every single citizen there, every single family member, you could see pride in their eyes about their graduating sons and daughters on the field. And I could say that as a minister of government, I'm taking all the time, but I really felt strongly about it. I felt proud of them too. I'm getting older, time to go, but I saw young, bright, committed Jamaicans join the police force wearing the uniform of pride. Why isn't that being said out there by a wider cross-section? We have graduated since last year, nearly between this last year and this year. The college will be graduating 2,000, nearly 3,000, all young men and women. Yet there are still some people who like to say, project the police force in a negative light. We're getting on top of the trafficking system, but what they used to say before, oh, policemen have taxi, that's why the road can run right. The policemen and really, the taxi drivers and radio road are towing tickets, 700. None of them are owned by police. But that's the excuse given. And I want to urge the citizens of Savannah and Westmoreland in particular to give the police the support. Respect the officers. They're in a tough job. They're working hard. This story, there will be the odd person there. Jamaica have officer who is not following the line. It happens in every field. In medicine a couple years ago, there was a doctor from, I think it was from somewhere down this side, I'm sure down in Westmoreland, who was charged for rape. The custos, as Archdeacon will tell you, there have been pastors in different denominations charged with different criminal activity. In fact, the Catholic Church currently has a major international investigation and activity going on. And if you want to go far and abroad, we had a big case come out of the embassy involving people selling visas. Commissioner is fully aware. And out of that racket, I think 2 people murdered. So I'm not telling you that the police are perfect, but they have 12,000 Jamaicans in which we have found perfection. Within that body, there'll be what I call infiltrators who will use the cover of the police for criminal activity. And the police force has been identifying them themselves. Not Indicom, the police lock up anyone they found, and they have been able to identify them. I think in the last couple of years, there's one gang out of Clarendon with several officers. The police locked them up. I didn't give an instruction. They investigated themselves and are upset that men of their own organization is creating a bad image for the police. But what is commendable, they are taking steps. Between the mainstream CTOC and I probably the professional standards branch, they are finding those who are seeking to bring the police in disrepute. I have to commend the police for that. There have been several other incidents beside that. When they go to investigate, they have not demonstrated at any time a bias. When they find them organizing criminals, they lock them up. And there have been several incidents which I don't want to go through because I'm sure by the time I go to the list, some of the media persons will pick out all that. There's police thing there. But I have to mention it because they have been doing an excellent job on that. And I said I'd moved to speak to it in closing because I could not help but say I felt as, not just as a minister, but as a Jamaican aware of the brutality and the numeric number of the criminal violence in the country. But when I saw those young men and young women on parade ground at Twickenham Park yesterday and a couple weeks before, I personally felt proud of them as a Jamaican. And I want our citizens to look at your police officers, give them the support they require. They need that moral support. Face the problem. As the commissioner said to me, it is easy to write an article about homicide and what went wrong or maybe not went wrong and speculate. But there's no speculation for a police officer. The first person to see the blood beside the family or the friend is the police officer. And the police force see everybody. Every dead body on the road is visible to a police officer, and the blood is seen, handled by the police officer on the crime scene. That's the reality of police work. So they're in no frame to condone that kind of death. They too feel the trauma, which is why sometimes, and I don't necessarily agree with some of the approach by other bodies who actually oversee them. But when a police officer come off a brutal scene, commissioner have to pull him in for a while. They need a little space outside the dust to clear their mind and look again, because they are not nice scenes to see. Nobody could think of, it was the police in Clarendon where that man butchered literally 5 family members. It's not a scene that any normal human being can just walk in, look on, and just leave feeling the same. But the police had to stay there. They had to wait till the doctor come, just like I did up in the one that was rotting. Observe the scene, and not only stay and observe, but get police officers to examine it in detail to see if there's evidence to show where it is leading to. That's the job they do. It's a tough job. It's a necessary one, and it's one that we need done to restore public order, public safety in the country. As a minister, I think, I'm confident, they are up to the task, they are doing a good job. I have to, as a part of the government, ensure they have the requisite tools, physically, the requisite legislation, and the supporting necessary to get that job done and restore public order and public safety to the level we want in this country. But we need the support of all the citizens. In this part of the team, the criminal justice system is one of the few systems we can talk of as a country that is a total system, it's a holistic system. Everybody has something at risk and everybody has something to contribute. But today, it is my pleasure to be here to break ground for a new police station, designed and built for the police. Designed and built for the police. Provide them with a professional space as they are professionals at work. My privilege and pleasure to be here. But I said, again to the citizens, give them the support they require, work with them. The police force, led by the commissioner, and I'll be having a short briefing from the team locally after this meeting, work with the Jamaica Defense Force, work with MOCA, FID, and all the other relevant agencies, is going to a spate of preparing for a level of increased activity between now and December. I know there'll be results. They work together on a routine basis. Required coordination and logistical support to hit the criminals across the island in a very direct way and ensure that we can, while they amend their ways and go to drive-by and stabbing, the police and the security team is amending their own ways and planning. And I know the police, the JDF, MOCA, and all those who love voted, they're smarter, they're brighter, and they're better than the criminals out there. We will beat them, and we'll win. But to the citizens, give them the support. They deserve it, and we need it. Thank you very much, my colleagues.
We want to extend thanks to our Minister of National Security and Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang. I'm sure you would have heard the passion in his voice about fixing crime. And I know in the audience you listened attentively. And I know that from today onwards, you will put something into action to solve the problem. We are reminded that solving crime is not only up to the police, but it's up to all of us. I want to commend the Ministry of National Security for the work that they're doing to support and provide the resources that the officers and the JDF requires to carry out their work. I also want to show appreciation to all the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force for the work that you are doing and the work that you will continue to do. Can we give them a round of applause? As citizens, we are committed, or we are committing ourselves to continue, and for those who are not on board, to get on board to solve the problem of crime within the parish of Westmoreland. I sincerely want to extend thanks to each and everyone who have made it possible to be here. Your presence here today is a commitment to the parish of Westmoreland to help to solve the problems that we're faced with. And so I want to commend you all for all those who would have participated in our program today. I just want to share a few thoughts. It says, it is not our diversity that divides us. It is not our ethnicity, religion, or culture. It is our actions. The ends you serve that are selfish will take you no further than yourself. But the ends you serve that are for all in common will take you into eternity. Never forget that intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries a burden. Therefore, remove yourself as far as is possible from ignorance and seek as far as is possible to be intelligent. It is my belief that criminals probably suffer from some form of mental problem, because I'm not sure why is it that they would want to destroy families, because they also have families too. And so we're hoping and praying that all the programs that are being put in place will really help to eradicate this problem that we're faced with in the parish of Westmoreland. At this time, I would want to invite our Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, Mr. George Wright, to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jermaine Williams, Master of Ceremony. Mr. Williams, you have conducted this program in a very efficient and respectable way. It couldn't have done better, Mr. Williams. And we want to say a big thank you. Let me first acknowledge also the presence of the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, CD, Mr. Courtney Williams, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Hartley Perrin, Custos Rotolorum of Westmoreland, Mr. Donald Moore, and other representative of NHT, Mr. Rudolph Utah, and let me acknowledge the presence of Ms. Donette Foster, Councillor for the Cornwall Mountain Division, Mr. Kevin Murray, Councillor for the Friendship Division, and also Mr. Delancey, Deputy Mayor of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation. I don't see Miss Marvelyn Peter, but she's here on the program. I also want to recognize
the presence of the superintendent, Mr. Wayne Joseph, and his team. Also, Mr. Commissioner, I want to thank you so much. You was here a few days ago, sir, and I noticed you taking residence here in Westmoreland. We want to thank you, and we wish you continue to visit us and to bring more goodies here in the parish. Some of our police station here in Westmoreland Central. And of course, I would have visited and hear the cry of the police officers and lobby for a new police station or repairs. And I just want to say a big thank you, Mr. Chang, for considering Westmoreland. Because, you know, the police men and women, they are doing such a great job. And to see the condition where they operate from, sometimes it's very much heartbroken and discouraging. And I'm sure that they will be happy to see a new police station here in Savlamar. We have a lot more to come, but we starting here in Central. I know there's one there in Little London, which is in Western. But we are happy that the government of Jamaica see it fit to ensure that our policemen and women have somewhere nice to operate from. And we thank. So, it has been a pleasure to be a part of this historic occasion of witnessing the groundbreaking ceremony for a brand new police station here in Frome. And I am tasked with the vote of thanks to express gratitude and heart on behalf of my constituency and the general public of Westmoreland in time where the monster of crime is wreaking havoc on the police of Westmoreland and the police service and task force have been stretched thin in an effort to protect and rescue the citizens of Westmoreland. They are in need of moral booster. This ceremony has been represented that booster as in a very short order. They will be enjoying a modern facility where they can utilize the latest technology to fight against crime and violence. Ladies and gentlemen, in saying thanks, I must emphasize the commitment of the government to national security. Similarly, I must laud the efforts of our Minister of National Security, Dr. Harris Chang, for ensuring that the necessary policing arrangements are in place to assist and allow the very hard-working and motivated Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, and his policemen and women to do their job. I want to say thanks to the National Housing Trust, for its partnership with the government of Jamaica and these projects. Sincere thanks. And our hard-working councillor, Mr. Yuta, and his team for the continuing lobbying on these issues that are affecting the people they represent. I want to thank our Reverend for the prayer he would have bringing God's presence unto us this morning, because if it wasn't for the good Lord, we could not be here in such an enjoyable moment. Ladies and gentlemen, invited guests and residents, thank you for making the time to be with us today. God bless you, and God bless Jamaica.
All right, thank you, Sir Wright. I know the vote of thanks was just done, but if you permit me to just give some instructions. So at this time, we'll be doing the formalities of the groundbreaking. And so I'm going to be inviting the following individuals to just step to the back to participate in this section. Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, our Major General Anthony Anderson, Mr. Courtney Williams, Mr. Brian Saunders from NHT, our Deputy Mayor, our Custos Rotolorum, Councillor Yuta, and MP George Wright. So the 8 individuals, I'm inviting you to the back to participate in this formality. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, boy. Na, 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 na. We want a peace for Jamaica. Yeah, yeah. We have to be our brother's keeper. Yeah, yeah. Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life. Want we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good. I better you and I. No say we future bright. Jamaica live good. I make the blood stop run. People have to have some fun. Jamaica live good, yeah. Come together as one. I make the violence the whole, yeah. Giant we see this champ pick up. Too much of gang violence and stick up. Rest in peace all on social media. But you not live in a peace with your neighbor. We have to protect the woman and the youths now. Elderly in a fear them get shoot down. Yo, me tired if me tell you not the truth now. This is what we have to do now. Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life. Want we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good. I better you and I. No say we future bright. Jamaica live good. I make the blood stop run. People have to have some fun. Jamaica live good, yeah. Come together as one. I make the violence done. Tell me how we not shame fi see the streets not safe no more. The youths them can't go a play no more. Now I fi see them lock up a jail. Or worse yet dead in a grave. Oh, this is a anti-violence campaign. If you not do your part about that complain. So tell the shot of them fi stop us gun. Work hard and bust champagne. Let Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life. Want we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good. I better you and I. No say we future bright. Jamaica live good. I make the blood stop run. People have to have some fun. Jamaica live good, yeah. Come together as one. I make the violence done. I make the crime ease up all over Jamaica. Peace start reign, nobody na violate, and the youths them not afraid we come out and play. Jamaica for Jamaicans that we say. Jamaica is a paradise, Nobody think twice. Jamaica live good, I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good, I better you and I. No say we future bright. Jamaica live